call this segment What's Up, Doc? Every Thursday morning around this time, we spend some time with the health experts at Mercy Health, and this morning is no exception. We're going to talk a little bit about families and festivities and food, lots of food. You got temptations very strong at this time of year. You had the pandemic on top of it. You got stress eating. You got overeating. You got all kinds of things you need to be concerned about. Well, to offer us some tips and educate us a little bit is Elise Remson. She's dietitian and quality coordinator, diabetes and nutrition services at Mercy Health. Elise, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you with us. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. How about y'all?
We have nothing to complain about. Give us a little background on you.
So, I'm a dietitian at Mercy Health. I work in the outpatient setting, so much like you would schedule an appointment to see your doctor, patients can schedule individually with us. And basically, we just give nutrition education for anything from weight loss to diabetes, heart disease, allergies. So pretty much any nutrition topic that the doctor wants to refer you for, we see and help.
What is it that got you into this field?
So I just personally have always liked to live a healthy lifestyle, so I love being able to share that passion of mine with others, and a lot of members of my own family have a lot of various disease states, and so it's just something that's personal to me to help other people as well as my family.
And what kind of educational background was involved to get into the nutritional world?
So you have to have an undergrad degree, like your bachelor's, which 4 years for some, and five for me. It took me a little bit longer. And then you have to get matched to an internship that's accredited, and that's usually about a year. It can be a little longer if there's a master's program tied to it. And then after that, you sit for your boards, and you become a registered dietitian.
And where did you, we need to figure out if we like you or not. Where did you do your undergrad?
LSU, so Louisiana State, yep.
Go Tigers.
Yes, yep. Not this year, last year for sure.
It's a tough year. Sorry about that.
It is, I know, but it's okay.
So have you made your determination? Do we like her? So LSU is okay with you?
LSU is fine.
Okay.
That's a fun place.
Would have been bad if she'd have said Duke or Notre Dame. Is that the problem?
I would have had a different opinion of her.
Okay.
Not necessarily worse. Not necessarily bad, but not as good.
I myself have no matriculation bias. I'm okay with wherever you went because obviously you know your stuff. All right, just right off the top on the coffee table out here in our green room, we've got this lovely pan of turtle brownies.
They're delicious.
Oh, yes.
Is it wrong for Joe and I to eat all that ourselves? Should we share?
Sharing, it's the time of year. You need to share with everybody. But there's nothing wrong with I always tell my patients to live a 80-20 lifestyle. So if 80% of the time you can do it right, 20% of the time you have to factor in for things like turtle brownies, holiday food, pizza, that kind of thing. So
I can factor in the subtext of what you're saying is being, let's go with moderation here, people.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I've been living by the during the week being smart, and then I eat like an idiot on the weekend.
That sounds like my mom. That's what she tells me, at least.
We love your mom. We already love your mom.
Yeah, she told her doctor this week. She's like, I'm not giving up my pizza Sunday. And she was like, okay, you don't have to.
Good, because I'm not going to, and we don't need to fight about it.
Yeah, your mom and I are on the same team right now.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about stress eating. I hear that term all the time. Does everyone do it? Some people obviously more than others, or is this just hit certain types of folks?
I think it's pretty common. I hear it a lot from a lot of my patients, especially this year, so to speak. With the pandemic and then around the holidays, it's just a more stressful time. So a lot of people go to food for comfort when they're stressed. That's a lot. That is a lot. We obviously talk about what's good and what's not so good to eat, but a lot of what we do educate on is finding healthier alternatives to stress instead of coping with food. So exercise, reading. Some people say they pray. Support groups. It's kind of been more difficult this year with the pandemic for sure to get out and about and try to avoid the food part of it.
So I think a lot of people are excited when they find out their doctors or the experts are doing some of the wrong things themselves. What's the siren call of sin in the food world that you have a hard time avoiding?
Oh man,
Yeah.
I hate to say. I know there's so many. I'm gonna go with nachos. That's my dream food. I love it.
See, I love the fact that you say there's so many because that indicates a humanity here that you know exactly what it is people are doing.
Oh,
You're not condemning them for it. You're trying to guide them into a better way of doing things, admitting it yourself that there are certain things that reach out and grab a hold of you.
Right. I would never, and I tell everyone this that I meet, I would never tell someone to do something that I wouldn't do. So, like my husband and I eat Chick-fil-A every Friday. We share a fry, and then I have a salad and he has chicken tenders, but we still, we have fries.
Is he the hardest person really to get going with the program?
So he eats what I cook. He does eat what I cook. Let's say that. But he does like his donuts and his McDonald's.
Have you found stashes of like Rice Krispie treats hidden in the house anywhere?
No. He's lucky. I do like to bake, so that's really interesting that I am a dietitian that also likes to bake unhealthy things. So he's lucky in that way. I kind of push all those things off on him, which maybe not a good thing.
Thought you were going to say he's lucky. I haven't found those things yet.
No, I wish I could say that, but nope.
All right, the holidays are here. All the holiday foods, desserts, side items, appetizers, gnawing on, whatever you want to call it. What do you tell people that mostly you should just try to avoid this if you can?
Well, I don't believe there's anything that you need to avoid during the holidays because if anything we've learned from this year, life is short, and every year you should think that way, and the holidays come around once a year. So I usually tell patients, enjoy the day or enjoy the meal, but try not to string it from Thanksgiving all the way to New Year's that you're eating every single day over and over and over again for basically a month.
Yeah, take a Wednesday off here and there.
Right. So, if your holiday meal is at 3:00, make sure you eat a good breakfast. That's going to set you up for success walking into that situation where you're not going to necessarily overdo it if you've kind of starved yourself all day long. And then try not to take leftovers. Maybe not go back for seconds if you know that you're going to get that pie or a second piece of pie. Bringing a vegetable if you're asked to bring something or offer to bring something that you could have. But those are my tips really to navigate it when people are still trying to, manage certain disease states or help, not gain all the weight during the holidays, but enjoy them too.
When you sit down with people for that kind of initial consultation on things, what's kind of the most common faux pas people are making that might be pretty easy to fix?
Skipping meals, not drinking enough water, and not eating enough protein.
You said the water thing. I dropped some weight about a year ago, and the water thing was one of the. When you always hear you drink enough water.
Yeah.
But I don't think people realize unless you're actually paying attention, you're usually not getting it. And it was such an easy thing to do eventually, and I credit that with being one of the biggest keys to losing weight was just getting enough water in me.
Right. A lot of times, people are just thirsty, and it's a hunger. It comes across as a hunger cue, and it's really thirst.
So, that would be smart. Looking at your unnecessary sugars, Joe talked about dropping a bunch of weight, over 70 pounds last year.
Wow.
My daughter was up around the 60-pound weight loss mark as well. And one of the things I noticed from both of them was the getting rid of anything that would be empty calories, I guess you'd call it. Get rid of pop.
Yes.
Get rid of, try to avoid things they're packed with sugar that may give you that, endorphin rush initially, but then it builds into regret later.
Yes, exactly. That's a good point. I don't know. That should have been the very top one, actually. All your sugary beverages. Hopefully, I do work with a lot of diabetic patients, and so that's typically their. But by the time they get to me, that's the first thing the doctor's already told them. So sometimes it's not. I don't have to tell them again. But that's huge. It's such empty calories. You just can't compete with how quickly it's going to digest and absorb and store in your body, that kind of sugar.
Yeah, kicking pop out of my life. I mean, it comes back once in a while, but for years, I was a Diet Coke drinker, and that was fine, right? No calories. It's all right, and I've heard some say that the Diet Pops are sometimes even worse than the sugar pops. No pop at all, right?
Well, so that's a hot topic.
Yes, it is.
There's no evidence right now that's strong enough for diabetes educators or dietitians to recommend that you should avoid the diet drinks, so like anything with artificial sweetener. However, just because it's not scientifically proven at this moment doesn't mean, if you have a ton of it in your diet, I don't think anything like that artificial is good for anyone. So I really go back to the moderation part. Like if you're having that one Diet Coke a day, but then the rest of your day is pretty low in not high in sugar, not high in artificial sweeteners, then that's probably okay. However, if you're doing sugar-free Jell-O, sugar-free pudding, sugar-free this and that, and the Diet Coke, then that's going to start to add up.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I would imagine that having to deal with someone who comes into your office and goes, hey, I'm trying this great thing, this diet I learned about on Facebook. Now, I know you aren't going to roll your eyes directly at them, but internally, does that result in a bit of an eye roll?
Yeah. That's the life of a dietitian. Everybody's the expert but the person who went to school. And that's okay. That's okay.
You mean to tell me your degree trumps my Facebook search?
Absolutely. No way. Not at all.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of that because you see some of these diets. Oh, yeah, I'm on the grapefruit and plum smoothie diet. I have it 4 times a day, and I'm supposed to do it for 8 weeks.
Right.
So, Elise, one kind of serious thing before we get you out of here. You've mentioned, I think, diabetes 3 or 4 times in our talk right now. Obviously, a huge problem in the country. What are some signs, that you might want to get checked out for, type 2 diabetes?
So some of the signs would be blurry. It's kind of hard because sometimes they mask other things, but big ones would be frequent thirst, frequent urination, blurry vision. If you notice that you're like a cut on your hand or your foot isn't healing quite as quick enough, those are usually the biggest signs. And a lot of times I've had patients in the past tell me that they feel like they have the flu and they start drinking like a ton of orange juice, and then they end up in the emergency room with a blood sugar of like 500 because they thought they had the flu, but in fact they had diabetes and they didn't know it.
Oh,
yeah. So, and, also ask, most people, it depends on how close you are to your family, but if you have any family history, you are at a greater chance of getting it. So, paying attention to what your family has and just so okay, maybe this is what it is and it's not the flu.
All right. Well, one thing I've learned about this, diabetes, very, very important to keep a check on, keep tabs on, especially if you've been diagnosed with it or if you're curious that might be where you're going. Have someone come and look at that. And otherwise, I'm getting a lot of moderation out of this.
Yes. Everything in moderation. I hate to be a broken record about it, but it really, if you start to restrict things, it's just going to put food on a pedestal, and then you're going to think about it to the point where that's all you can think about. So, if you really want the brownie in front of you, eat the brownie, but then maybe don't have it the next day.
And she's given us a great idea for our new restaurant, Food on a Pedestal.
Food on a Pedestal, that'd be great. It'd be great. Hey, you can use this mantra that I used when I was losing weight. It was all right to eat bad once in a while, but I tried not to eat like an a-hole.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, it might not look so good on a bumper sticker, but at the same time, it still makes its point.
I'll stitch something up for you. You'll be fine.
Elise, thanks for taking time out of what we know is a very busy day. It was really delightful talking to you. For people who want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
So they can just have a referral sent from their primary care physician over to Diabetes and Nutrition Services at Mercy Health.
Outstanding. Hey, thanks again for your time. Have a great rest of the holiday season, and we appreciate you being on with us.
No problem. Happy holidays.
You too. That's Elise Remson. She is a dietitian and quality coordinator in Diabetes and Nutrition Services at Mercy Health.
I liked her.
Me too.